It is Sunday, June 8th. Thought I'd film a quick video update. I know it's only been a week, but things are changing rather rapidly, and I thought I may start doing a weekly video update. We'll start with the usuals. I have moved them around somewhat, but we'll start with at least the first pepper. This is my Hungarian hot wax. And as you can see, it has some nice looking pods going. There are several. They're actually going from upright to they're starting to go pendant because they're getting heavy. Nice size. Plant's looking really good overall. We just had a nice little rain shower. Rained pretty hard for probably 20-30 minutes. Breaking the clouds, and maybe an hour or so later got another hard rain shower. So everything's starting to look nice. Hawaiian Sweet Hot. Not really putting out a lot of blooms. There's one or two at the top. Just growing tall. It's extremely tall. Hoping maybe it'll start thickening up soon. Right now it's mostly just putting on height. This is my Jaluchin. It was really struggling a couple weeks ago, and the past couple weeks, a lot of sun, a little bit of rain. It's grew nicely. It's kind of small, a lot smaller than I would have anticipated. I had another one that I gave to a friend that seemed to be thicker and bushier, but I feel pretty confident it'll catch up. It's slowly getting there. This was the worst looking of the bunch, the little Billy Biker. And surprise, it is coming to life. Lots of new growth, looking really nice. I think it's finally turned a corner and it's going to turn into a nice pepper. This is an ancient sweet. It's put out a pod. A couple starts. Don't really know what to expect first you're growing it. It's supposed to be a nice sweet pepper. Really large. Comparable to maybe a Hatch chili or something around that size. Tabasco. And I'm not sure if you can see, but there are a couple pods on there. Might be hard to pick up, it's pretty sunny. Cayenne pepper. You can see it has a couple nice sized pods on it. It's looking really nice. And now to the Super Hots, which are really growing and has started to put out some nice pods as well. This is the Buchlokia caramel that I almost killed from the fertilizer burn, and it has come on nice here in the past couple weeks. It's actually, I think, has the start of a few pods. Nothing major, but it's catching up really quick. This is the other Buchlokia caramel, and it was not damaged, and you can see the difference. Tremendous size difference. And also this one has several pods. Lots of nice pods going. It's really starting to produce some nice quality pods, and there's a pretty nice size one somewhere. Oh, here we go, right here. Not sure how good you can see that, but if I get my hand out of the way, there you go. It's looking nice. And this is in a 15-gallon pot. I have 3 in the large 15-gallon pots. And they are really starting to grow. It is only the beginning of June, so I can't imagine in a couple months what these things are going to look like. Pretty excited. This is a Jamaican hot chocolate. It also has some nice pods on it. And I honestly think they are starting to turn. I don't know if you can tell, but they're pretty dark. I think maybe in a week or two we might have a ripe one. It also has a lot of smaller pods around, but several almost harvestable size, just waiting on the color. Yellow 7 Pop Primo. in a 15-gallon pot. And look at these pretty pods. Very nice looking pods. You can see good size, good shape. Don't really show any indication of turning, but good looking pods nonetheless. Starting to put out several of those. Chocolate habanero. This has been one of my better plants from the beginning. And you can see the size. It's a very nice size. And it has lots of pods. None very large. I'm a little shocked at the size. But you can see there are lots of small pods all over the plant. And even more on the front side. There's one decent sized one. I guess you can see it. But all in all, nice plant. This is the Scotch Bonnet 7 Jonah. Not a whole lot of activity as far as pods are concerned. It's doing a lot of growing. Starting to flower. I do believe it has a couple pods. Not sure if you can see that, but there's a pod hiding back there. Small pod. There's another one growing upright, which is kind of a shock. Here's one. So it is producing pods. Several more, but nothing real impressive. This is the first Bonda My Jack. This one was topped. And actually when I was moving it, I had to move all these and do some landscaping. It was starting to get weedy back here. When I was moving it, it actually broke. One stem came off, but it doesn't really seem to be suffering too bad. Thin hasn't really bushed out yet, but it's getting there. Second Bonda My Jack. And it's in good shape. It's a lot thicker, as you can see. A lot of flowers on it. And I'm pretty sure there's a decent sized pod somewhere. Oh, here we go. Not sure if you can pick that up, but it's starting to look really nice. 7-pot Mad Balls. It has a few pods on it. Actually, more than I remembered it. It's starting to produce pretty good. A couple nice sized ones here and there. Nothing really big, but as you can see, even just from a week ago, these guys are starting to produce big time. Blood Orange Copenhagen has been a good producer straight from the beginning. I actually pulled a ripe pod off of this one. It was very small, cold weather pod. I put them out a little early, so it produced some small pods that actually ripened. I pulled 2 of them off, but they were maybe the size of a dime. Nothing really to brag about. Still not a very big plant, but looks healthy. Let's see. I think this, yes, MOA Scotch Bonnet. And it is really starting to up the pod production. And as you can see, there's a couple down here starting to get dark. I think they may change in the next week or two. Nice size pods. Not grade A quality as far as the pod shape, but good looking pods nonetheless. And there are even more on the back side. I won't bother going back there, but it is starting to produce big time. Still has some wrinkly shape to the leaves. Again, I think that might have something to do with the medium, but I've had a couple other plants that were that way, and they are actually starting to straighten out. Orange Habanero is that way, and I'll show you that when I get to it. Yucatan White Hab, it also has some curly leaves, but I think it'll grow out of that as well. This has lots of pods on it, but they're really small. If anybody's grown this one before, maybe you can give me some input as far as what to expect. But it is absolutely covered with pods, just very small pods. Not the size I was expecting with habanero being in the name. But look, see how many pods? It's crazy. Everywhere you lift, there's just pods everywhere. This is the one I was about to give up on. People said repot, you know, trying to add seasoning, but just I think maybe in the last week, I don't even believe this had emerged the last video. All this new growth here. This thing sat almost dormant for probably 3 weeks, growing really nice, putting out pods. All of a sudden, just stopped. Have no idea what happened, but it is recovering, and I think it's going to make it. Looking really healthy now, at least the new growth. Orange habanero. This one really looked like the Yucatan white. See how crinkly the leaves are? And in the past week or two, it's pretty much straightened out. All this new growth, nice and straight. It too is absolutely covered with pods. Everywhere you look, every limb you lift, and you can actually see some smaller ones that are right down there. Kind of the same scenario as the Buddha Orange Copenhagen. Smaller ones that formed when it was colder, they have actually ripened. But this thing is an amazing producer every year. It produces that way. Sorry, I was off the plant there, but you can see lots of pods. Every year it does that. Very nice production out of that plant. Black Naga. Starting to thicken up a bit. This one was topped. It is taking a little longer to catch up, but you can see actually there's a pod or two on it. Smaller ones, but all that's new. No, I don't believe it had any pods the last time we did an update. 7-pot Infinity. And most of these, if you're curious, most of these are over 3 feet. Some of them are approaching 4 feet. And for early June, I'm pretty impressed with that. You can see there's some small pods starting to form on this one, more in the back. Good looking plant. Indian Carbon Boot. It's coming along nicely. Lots of pods on it too. Smaller pods, there's a few bigger pods, but you can see all the small pods that have formed. And a lot of this just since the last video, just in a week, 10 days. There's a little better sized one there. And now down to the 3 reapers. First reaper in a 10-gallon pot. There's a pod on it there. If I lift it, I think you can see the stinger. Classic reaper stinger shape. Pretty excited about these. I believe they're going to grow true. I believe there may be another pot or two here on the back side. Sorry, I know I'm moving kind of quick, but we just did this a week ago, so I don't want to bore you guys too much. But there are pods. Maybe hard to pick up. Second reaper, 10-gallon pot. Another good looking pod. Nice stinger on it. Not sure how well you can see that. And it has several smaller pods, much like the other one. I thought there was another one, but not sure where it's at. There's a really small one. They all seem to be growing true. That stinger you would expect to have on a reaper. My first time growing them, but from what I've read. There's another one. Nice stinger on it. Another one. You can see that's a good looking one there. And the last reaper in the 15-gallon pot. And as you can see, it's starting to catch up to the 10 gallons. It was small for a long time, but now that it's consistently warm, these plants in the 15-gallon pots are really starting to grow. I anticipate by year's end, they may double the size of the 10 gallons. That's how quickly they have grown just in the past week or two. And it has some small pods on it. Really small, just starting out, but all this is just in the past week or so. And I'm sure that's due to the warm weather. We've been consistent mid 80s, low 90s. You can see this kind of overview, but
Almost all the plants, other than a few stragglers, are 3 feet plus. You can see my tomatoes in the background. They're already close to 4 or even 5 feet. All in all, feel pretty good about it. Early pod production, good looking pods. Lots of pods. Almost every single plant has pods on it. There you go. Just thought I'd catch you guys up. A lot of pod production. I'm pretty excited. Maybe next time we'll have a ripe one to show. Same as always. Comments, questions, concerns, any advice, more than happy to take it. Take it easy.